Grey's Anatomy, the most iconic binge-worthy drama, is back, along with answers to the biggest cliffhangers. Will Teddy survive? Will Joe and Link finally find happiness together? Meredith returns along with fan faves like Arizona. You can now stream every episode of Grey's ever on Hulu, and new episodes next day. Watch new episodes of Grey's Anatomy Thursdays at 9/8 Central on ABC and stream on Hulu.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woohooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver? I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino-style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses. So don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Hey guys, it is Ryan. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm a bit of a fun fanatic when I can. I like to work, but I like fun too. It's a thing. And now the truth is out there. I can tell you about my favorite place to have fun. Chumba Casino. They have hundreds of social casino style games to choose from with new games released each week. You can play for free anytime, anywhere. And each day brings a new chance to collect daily bonuses. So join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Well, congratulations, I first thing say, on a season 3, because we've interviewed you right from season 1, season 2, and it's brilliant that it's back again. I've only managed to see 2 of them, so I've got the others lined up, ready to go. Very, very slick. They look as fantastic as they did the other 2 seasons. What's different this time round? Have you moved it on?
I know. I think we all felt a pressure coming back after this much time away to be more ambitious and to make sure we deliver, because we could have just faded away, and we got the opportunity to come back, and it's not worth coming back if you're not going to come back and be a bigger, better version of what you were. So I think on every level, we've tried to just raise the ambition of the show.
So it looks like that the fight scenes, which is sort of the key things, particularly for sort of our audience, are full on furious, and they sort of taken it to another level. So I think you definitely succeeded in that regard. Yes.
Yeah, I actually feel that way. I said to Brett, Brett Chan's our stunt coordinator and our fight coordinator, and I think he was so heartbroken when we didn't come back that when we did come back, he was sort of like a horse out of the gate. He'd probably been thinking about fights for 2 years that he wanted to do. And, we spent a lot of time just trying to cut down what he designed into, something short enough to put in the show. We could have had hour-long fights. Like, he was just so excited to just bring it back. And I think the fights are definitely up another level.
They definitely are. And if you wanted to do extras, you could just do an extended fight sequence. These are for folks like myself and our audience, because
you should get Brett to share with you. Brett does very produced videos of all the previses of all the fights. Cool. So he's got a lot of stuff that never makes it onto the show, like tons of martial arts action. Wow. You guys should just do a feature on Brett.
I'd love to. That would be a stunning thing, definitely. Yeah. What is Brett's background then? Is it JKD, and sort of, is that a question for you, Shannon?
I believe he has a 7th degree black belt in Shotokan, if I'm not mistaken, which is but he studied Krav Maga, Kung Fu. He seems to speak very knowledgeably about Jeet Kune Do. I don't know what his exact experience with it is.
Well, it all looks very good, gritty, and powerful stuff. It is for Shannon. So, with the limited notes your father left, how did you develop this this season particularly? Was it just based on taking his philosophy and the powerful sort of messages within that and bringing that through? Is that what sort of drove his vision?
Well, I'll tell you, the original treatment and my father's notes, they really are sort of the soul of the show. They create the tone and the energy and the perspective of the show. And then Jonathan and helped to build that out into a much bigger, more complex and beautiful world. But that original treatment always talked about the arc of the main character of Ah Sahm. And I think in this season, we're sort of seeing him have to decide whether he wants to be a true warrior or if he's going to just be a gangster. And, all of the soul of that transformation and of the struggle of all of our characters in this world are energetically within the treatment of my father's, but the way in which and the just beautiful array of characters that we have and their complexities and their struggles are all things that Jonathan and Evan and Josh and the other writers have done such a beautiful job of creating, because the treatment was created in the 60s and 70s. It was a time when episodic TV was very different than it is now. And so, hats off to Jonathan.
How do you go about writing that? Do you have a writer's room and everyone's pitching in
it's not,
ideas?
it takes a lot of people. It's not me alone. And this season in particular, Evan and Josh, who were writers and producers on the show for the first 2 seasons, they really took over as showrunners this season. So we all did a writer's room together. What was nice about the writer's room is we really had a lot of familiar faces in the room. A lot of people were happy to come back. This was the first year Hoon Lee, one of our actors, actually became a writer on the show. He was in the writer's room and he wrote one of the episodes. So we all sit in the room together. We sort of go back to the thematic core of what's the show about. What's our emotional goal? What's our spiritual goal? What's our political goal? And then we weave the story around that, and that takes a few months, and then a bunch of writing, and and then it's just figuring out, where the conflicts are, where the fights are, where the love is, and where we're going to leave our characters at the end of the season.
Which is a question that is baking there. Is it's the end of this season? Is there in the offing a season 4? Is that something that
we would love to do one?
It feels like a story that it's very much the unfolding of America. And it feels like it should continue because it's an unending story.
Yeah, we would love to.
Yeah, we certainly feel it should continue.
What would it take for that to happen? Is it just, I presume, massive success, obviously, but is it, I suppose, the changing nature of sort of the broadcasting and commissioning background?
I think no matter how it changes, the answer is always the same. If the viewers come, we'll be asked to do more, and our hope is the viewers will come.
They will come. At least our audience will. It's a gift for our audience. Do you do martial arts? And if so,
I did. I'm retired now. I write it for other people to do. I did from about the age of 11 to probably 30, and then just life. I had to sort of make some choices about. It was pretty clear I was never going to be that great, so I had to pick the stuff. I was writing or martial arts. I went with writing.
But you have a black belt, right?
Yeah. I was a degree black belt in Kung Fu, and I did. I actually in college I actually taught. I taught to sort of make some extra money, but then life got in the way, and my brain still thinks I could do it, but I'm sure that as soon as I did that, there'd be a harsh wake-up call. Yeah.
But do you feel that informs your sense of how to write the story and how you write a conflict and how it's resolved and all that sort of thing?
The story points I don't think are necessarily informed by my martial arts training as much as by many decades of martial arts movie watching. There are certain traditions and tropes of martial arts movies that we either celebrate or subvert, and years of having watched Bruce Lee, Chuck Norris, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Steven Seagal, everyone in between, Scott Adkins, go down the list, Mark Dacascos, who we were lucky enough to pull onto the show this year. That's definitely ingrained in everyone in the room is very well versed in that stuff.
Well, you mentioned politics and that sort of thing. Do you think this is a particularly relevant and resonant series, given what's happening right now in the world and that whole idea of conflict and racial tension? Is that particularly why it's sort of strikes a chord, do you think, with an audience, as well as having all the action within it?
For sure. I mean, I think it's sort of in some ways, a difficult thing to realize that our show is reflecting current times in a lot of ways. This country has always had some difficult immigration issues, issues of, racism, xenophobia, that sort of thing. Certainly with the, Asian hate that popped up during the pandemic. That is something that was happening back in the 19th century, very prevalently. So I think our show does inform current times in a lot of ways, and creates sort of a way of hopefully seeing the world through our characters' eyes, and understanding that their struggle is to live the American dream is, a struggle that everyone has. And I know that a lot of people said to me during the pandemic and during the real rise in Asian hate that our show was actually very sort of like a balm for their soul, and empowering in some ways to see our characters be such strong, complex, and confident, ass-kicking characters that it really helped them in a lot of ways.
Moving that on as well is the role of women to all the characters is a huge sea change from back from the 60s and 70s. So sort of, is that something you are particularly, obviously you are, so could you talk a bit about how you're celebrating the role of women?
For me, whenever we would be in discussion about the characters and the scripts and reading the scripts, I always got my eye on the women characters and wanting to make sure that they're strong, complex, characters, and not just, damsels in distress or any of that sort of thing. And I think that all the writers do an amazing job of making sure that the women are very strong characters with great story arcs, and can be surprising in a lot of ways and really stand up for themselves, which is, obviously back in those times would have been really difficult, but also many women are doing all the time, whether it's seen or celebrated, and we definitely get to see and celebrate it on our show.
If the show is a bit anachronistic on purpose, and if we could put gangsters in our 1870s gangsters in Armani suits, we can make women more powerful than maybe they were allowed to be back then.
Well, I think you do a fantastic job, and I think it's a great sort of flagpole for a change and a light that's illuminating some dark things that shouldn't be, and it's a good way to do it, which is partly what I think martial arts is all about, is changing people's philosophy, personality, and the way they are in the world. So are you doing anything particular to celebrate Enter the Dragon? It's 50 years since 1973, and also unfortunate passing of your father. So is it something that you're going to look to tie anything to this, or is it just as a outside of Warrior, is there something you're going to be doing?
Well, we're definitely going to tie some celebrations and acknowledgements of my father's, we call it the 50th anniversary of his legacy. And this show is squarely a part of his legacy. And I believe our shows air on Thursdays here in the States anyway, and July 20th, which is the actual date of his passing, will be an airing of a very special episode.
July 20th, right? Yeah.
July 20th.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yes, there are going to be many other celebrations, both virtual and on social media, and in different ways across a lot of our platforms. So,
and the show also, the show has done something secret and surprising that comes up in an episode right around that same date, that is a special tribute to the legacy of Bruce Lee.
And is that why it's coming out on the 20th of July?
That's a great, we can call it a coincidence or a great cosmic convergence, but yes.
Cosmic convergence, I like that. Well, thank you very much and I hope and look forward to season 4. And please keep on going.
Sports Social Podcast Network.
Hey guys, it is Ryan. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm a bit of a fun fanatic when I can. I like to work, but I like fun too. It's a thing. And now the truth is out there. I can tell you about my favorite place to have fun. Chumba Casino. They have hundreds of social casino style games to choose from with new games released each week. You can play for free anytime, anywhere. And each day brings a new chance to collect daily bonuses. So join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.